So here's a case study of the Mississippi River. The textbook I was using only did it through 2008. This continues, and I believe I have a couple of videos showing this. So 1973 was a 100-year flood. There were a few deaths, about $1.2 billion in property damage. It was minor compared to what we would see in 1993 and 2008. The Great Flood of 1993, the Flood of 93. I was there for this. I remember this distinctly. It was much greater than 1973. It occurred all summer. This was flooding on both the Mississippi River and the Missouri River. So the Missouri River enters the Mississippi River at St. Louis. So there was massive flooding in the entire area, and the floodwaters didn't recede all summer. There were about 50 people died and $15 billion in damage. There was major flooding in 2008, mostly in June. About 24 people died and $9 billion of damage. We're talking $1 billion of damage. So these are all 100-year floods. 3 100-year floods in the past 45 years. Begs the question, are these actually 100-year floods? See if this actually comes up. So this is the Wikipedia page for Mississippi River flooding. 1543, that would be via historical documents and landform evidence. 1734, 1788, 1809, 1825, 1844, 1851, yada, yada, yada. Let's go to the more recent ones. So 73, 75, 79, 83, 93, 2002, 2008, 2011, 2014, 2017, 2019. These are not 100-year floods. So we have these are called great floods. This is what I was talking about when I was saying that sometimes floods are mislabeled, that they're labeled as being a 100-year flood when they occur much more frequently, and this can cause problems with zoning and let people think that they're safe when they're not. So yeah, there have been many floods. So 2019, the Mississippi River was flooding similar to 1993. 2017, historical flooding, record flooding. So these are not just isolated events. All right, this video is from 1993. It was put out by one of the local news agencies. I remember watching these events on TV live as a kid. You gonna play?
There had been some spring flooding along the Missouri and Mississippi, but that happened every few years. A couple of feet of river water on a few low-lying areas. The spring of '93 was nothing special.
But miles upriver in Des Moines, Davenport, Dubuque, all along the upper Mississippi, the spring rains continued falling and the rivers began rising. A wet spring would evolve into a record-breaking summer.
First it was an annoyance, then it became a major disaster, but new predictions put the Mississippi flood crest at 45.5 feet in St. Louis.
Our top story tonight at 10, a call is out tonight for more sandbaggers in South St. Louis.
The city's fire chief sounded the call after seeing what you just saw, a new higher forecast for the Mississippi.
Hundreds of families now face the very real possibility of losing their homes.
The true impact of the levee break wouldn't be known until sunrise, Saturday morning, July 31st. As St. Louisans awoke to Today in St. Louis, anchors Jeff Fowler and Gene Jackson showed the city and the nation some of the most incredible pictures we're ever likely to see.
The Monarch levee broke at about 10:30 last night, sending water spilling into an area of Chesterfield. It has flooded many farms. It has covered Highway 40 from just west of Clarkson all the way to Highway 94 in St. Charles. We are told in some places that the
I just have to break in here. So the smokehouse still exists, and now there's a strip mall as far as the eye can see along the highway that is currently underwater in this video. And it's a very, very built up strip mall. I watched it being built up throughout. This is the road we would take to drive from my parents' house to where we went to university. And every time we went back and forth, we would see more and more buildup. This was all, at this time, there wasn't very much out here. There were ball fields, the smokehouse, and then there was a pumpkin farm. Now there's a jail, there's car dealerships, there's a strip mall. There's still ball fields, but this guy's still there.
water is 4 to 5 feet deep along Highway 40. My partner Gene Jackson is in Chopper 5 with Alan Barklage at this hour, and they're over Highway 40. If you can see it, Gene, good morning.
Jeff, that's the trick. Can you see it? It's tree line, and the water is almost up to the tops of the trees here in Chesterfield Valley. And this is in an area where there's not supposed to be water. So you can imagine the damage that's being done. And Jeff, the debris is just horrendous. There's floating crates, barrels with who knows what's in them. Cars, you name it.
Gene, we can see we just saw at the top of the screen the Daniel Boone Bridge there. That gives people a pretty good perspective on the area we're talking about. And yeah. I mean, it's just, there's just no way to get near that bridge.
No way. In fact, the entire section of Highway 40 is closed in both directions from the Daniel Boone Bridge back to almost Chesterfield Mall to Clarkson Road.
As Saturday turned into Sunday, the attention of St. Louis and the world would turn to the bottomlands of Illinois. It would be a memorable day where the river would once again show its incredible power. The drama played out live on News Channel 5 as Jeff Fowler, Gene Jackson, and helicopter pilot Alan Barklage narrated the live pictures from Chopper 5 as it hovered over the Monroe County farm of Virgil Gummersheimer.
There's an actual breach in the levee at the farmhouse, and water's just flowing through it at a tremendous rate. Now, the problem is, you know, they could probably have another hour or so up on the levee before too big of a problem, but if that levee starts to go, there's no telling how long the levee or how large of a stretch of the levee will break at one time. The difference between the levee break earlier and now as we come around the tree here, it's unbelievable how quickly this water starts coming through.
It's digging a pretty good-sized hole, probably 5 feet deep right now in front of where that levee was.
Do you remember that video
are being
that we just
washed
saw?
Right down in there with it. You can see it coming around the other side of the farmhouse now and filling up in front of some silos.
Water is pouring through into this area.
Yeah, it's racing in there now, Alan.
And it's getting bigger by the minute. Before too long, this is going to be a major break in the levee.
If Joe can pan over and show us the house, I think you have to wonder whether the home is going to be able to withstand the force of the water.
Here we go. Here goes a part of the shed that held and housed a lot of the animals. It's now washing away. You saw the walls collapse underneath, and the roof and the contents are now washing away in that flood water.
That house is starting to go.
Oh, Jeff, it's unbelievable. There it goes. Just now lifted off the foundation, and it's just crumbling in the rapid and the violent waters here that are coming through this levee bridge about 3 miles south of the Jefferson Barracks Bridge. We've watched the silos go, we've watched the barn go, we've watched a shed go, and now the house itself has been lifted off the foundation by these floodwaters. It's just unbelievable.
And this
the
is
trees are actually snapping in two as well. It's just a tragedy.
Alan, in relationship to what you've already shown us, maybe Joe can get a wider shot and look back the other way. How many other farms do we have there that might be in trouble?
we're gonna bring it around and we'll show you as Joe comes by. There's some farms out in the background there, and you can see that there's still farmland here, and this water just keeps heading towards the farmland. As we come all the way around, there's another big farm and some of these farms there's 10, 15, 20 feet of water in the farms already.
My apologies. Gidget is crying right now, so if you can hear her, my apologies for that. All right. So that